Hello everyone, welcome back. Today is Tuesday, April the 19th, and I'm in a much better mood today. I think I was just frustrated at the article I'd read yesterday about Ellie, but feeling much better about things, thought a lot about all of the things that I've read in the newspaper, and I just want to go over some of those things with you. So let's get started. There's my disclaimer. All right, here is a picture of Meghan at the Invictus Games, and you can see on the left there's the picture of Princess Diana. It's basically the same type of onesie or blouse that she's wearing, and we all know that she likes to copy. And some people had asked about the watch, the Cartier watch that Meghan was wearing at the Invictus Games. This was the day of the opening, and she wore the white double-breasted suit jacket and pants. Well, let me show you. She was wearing Diana's watch because I had found this a long time ago, and I wanted to know the difference in the watches. You know, Meghan had bought a watch for herself, and that's the one on the right, and that is the gold and stainless steel watch, and the one on the left that Meghan was wearing was Princess Diana's gold Cartier tank watch. Then we have the green jackets when Diana was pregnant. And then this was the dress that Meghan slipped into after her wedding for the night event. And this was the off-the-shoulder kind of pink or mauve outfit. You can see they both are wearing. And then Meghan was going to a wedding here, and her hair looked like a mess. But it's very similar to something that Diana wore, I believe, when they were on one of their royal tours. And this is something that Meghan wore. Even before she was with Harry, she was already dressing like Princess Diana. And then another outfit. And then the sequin number. This is when she went to the, circus day, I can't even remember what it was, but anyway, it was one of the events that she went to when she was supposedly having a bad day and had cried and told Harry not to leave her at home. But a little sequin number. And then the white dresses. Diana just had everything tailored and it fit her, and Meghan is so short, everything is way too long. Her pants drag the ground, and she just never gets it right. Oh, and that was a picture of Nyaka Pretty and I think maybe her sister, and then there's Meghan in the middle. So let's move on. So we have the Daily Mail. Harry and Meghan are invited to make Buckingham Palace balcony appearance at Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations that Her Majesty looks to heal royal rift following the Sussexes' secret visit to see her at Windsor. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, when I first saw this and I saw what the Mirror and the Telegraph had reported, I thought, help me, because I will lose my stuff here, because I would be so upset, and I think the majority of you would too, if we saw them appear anywhere in public with the royal family after everything they've done to them. I understand they want to offer forgiveness. I completely understand that, but it's kind of hard to offer forgiveness when they're not even willing to apologize and admit their mistakes. So I'll tell you a little bit more about what I think as we get into it. So it just says they've been reportedly been invited to appear at Buckingham Palace balcony during the Platinum Jubilee celebrations, and a sign Her Majesty is looking to heal the royal right after Megxit. So it just says that they're expected to attend events, including service of Thanksgiving at St. Paul's Cathedral, but because they're non-working royals or members of the royal family, they would not be invited to take part in any official events over the 4-day bank holiday weekend, like Trooping of the Colors. All right, aides say the move will have to be a leap of faith from all sides after a string of damaging claims from Harry and Meghan since Max said, well, it's not only about them, but it should also be about the public, and for calling the people of the UK racist, and for all of the things that they've said, and for talking about the newspaper journalist and basically even the talk shows, morning news, that things that they've said about everybody. You can't say that when a few people do something that's wrong, you can't blame the whole lot of them or blame all of the UK, just like you can't do that no matter where we live. So I'm just going to pick out different little things. So says Prince Harry would also have to back down amid a row over security after he said he didn't feel safe bringing his family to the UK following the government's decision not to provide them with police protection. Do you think that was something they talked about, that the Queen said, you're going to have to let this go? We told you in the beginning when we sat down and explained how security would no longer be provided, and you don't just pay for security, then, you didn't understand or didn't seem to, but and then you go and sue Her Majesty's government. A spokesperson for the Sussexes told the Telegraph on Monday that they were not in a position to discuss future travel plans. The update comes after Harry and Meghan reportedly promised the Queen that she will get to hug her great-grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet, in the near future during what was a very cordial secret meeting. I don't believe there was anything cordial about it, and I starting to wonder whether or not I believe Her Majesty asked them to stop over. I don't think Harry and Meghan would have planned to stop over. I think she said, look, you're going to be over this way anyway. We won't announce that you're coming in. You don't have to worry about security. You'll be staying on the grounds. Everything will be safe and secure. But we have some things to talk about, and you need to come and see me. I don't believe it was a surprise visit to Her Majesty. I believe that it may have been planned all along, and hopefully we'll hear more about that in the coming weeks. But also, being that the palace didn't put out a statement, when you think about it, and then you've got the Mirror, and now the Daily Mail, and then you had the Telegraph, that we're all saying these things. Well, if the palace didn't say it, who's telling them this? That would seem to me that it would be coming from Harry and Meghan's camp, and just goes to show, again, who actually does do the leaking. They're always saying it's the palace, but the palace hasn't made a statement. Nobody can confirm that, the palace is stating this. I think an official statement would be put out, or it would be said that, the Queen asked us to, let you all know. So don't believe it. And there they are at the Invictus Games. We'll talk more about that. It said it was great to see her. Prince Harry breaks his silence on the secret meeting with the Queen as he puts positive spin on visit, saying that she would have loved to have been here. So he just goes on to say, now, see, here he is speaking out, and he spoke out to the BBC, and he just said that he added that he had passed on to the team, telling the BBC, so it was great to see her, and I'm sure she would love to be here if she could. And that Harry was saying that to the people at the Invictus Games, that, and is that to put a positive spin on it, but just saying that his grandmother, wished them well and so forth. Well, she knows how to put out her own official statements, and she does that for the Olympic Games. So why is Harry having to be her mouthpiece? We see what you're up to. Harry and Meghan's surprise outing. Duchess donned a 3,600-pound Valentino dress to join her husband for an unannounced appearance at the Invictus Games evening reception before she returns to California today. So she just had to wear a 3,600-pound dress just to go and get a couple pictures and grace everybody with her presence for the evening event. Exclusive, the royal suite inside the swanky 2,000-pound a night 5-star Hilton hotel, acting as Meghan and Harry's Invictus Games base, with rooms for ex-Secret Service bodyguard and aides. So, wow, okay. Well, you didn't get to stay with the Dutch royal family, so I guess this will have to do, right? Not quite what you're used to, is it, Harry and Meghan? So this is them posing a photo with competitors from Iraq at the Invictus Games. And anything else to say on this? No. Oh, and then they go on to talk about this Harry and Meghan's VVIP security operation. Royals are being protected at Invictus Games by private guards, including ex-Obama Secret Service agent and Dutch King's taxpayer-funded elite armed officers. So, a former U.S. President's Secret Service agent has been assigned to lead close protection for the couple, and it has been left to armed protection officers who usually guard the King of the Netherlands to provide security outside of the venue. Now, I think we understand what is going on here because, I think it's on the next page, so we all wondered how they got the VVIP security. And sometimes when there's large events like this, sometimes there are threats of terrorist attacks. And I don't believe that it was just the government just handing it out to them, but it could be because, you had the royals that were going to be there the day of, maybe during the week, and then the last day. But you also have, I'll show you that in a minute, but there were also, they get intel or intelligence that said that there might be some reasons for concern. So I believe that's why they were given that, not because they're very, very important people. Oh, this, guys, I've got to show you this. Let me just roll back to the beginning again. Okay, I'm going to explain this because I thought that that I had the notes on it, but this guy had put the hose, which was hooked up to his gas tank or outdoor barbecue grill cylinder, and he was made a little hole in the ground and stuck the hose down in it and was wanting to get rid of the ants. I must not have the screenshot that explained that. So, he's got the gas in there. He's throwing a couple of matches. Okay. Tries lighting it again. Look at the dog. The dog's in the back going, oh my God, what did he do? Oh my God, this just killed me. I don't even remember where I found this now, but I ran across it and I thought, well, that looks dangerous. That guy shouldn't get that close to that. But that was just so funny. But you want to see that again? Let's see. Oh! This poor guy is just blown up his backyard. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I thought we needed a little bit of comic relief on there, but so anyway, then Lee Memes does this, and she's got Harry in front of the logo, but it says instead of I am, it's I am in denial. So I thought that was pretty funny. And yes, he is. And here's another one. Exploiting Invictus for profit. Invictus Games, wounded warrior athletes deserve better. And Harry, show me the money. Prince of Netflix, monetizing Invictus. And then Meghan's where Miss Money Grubber, greedy. How much money is Harry taking from Invictus athletes? So, and I saw that on there, but I don't know who created this, so I can't give them credit. I'm sorry, but whoever did a fantastic job. All right, and just to give you an idea, one of the little jackets that Meghan's wearing here, the blazer, it's just 1,944 pounds. And, wearing that with a pair of, you're wearing a $2,000 or 2,000-pound blazer with a pair of blue jeans. Who does that? Meghan does. All right, later that day, the Duchess attended a reading in front of a group of 12 children. She had all of 12 children. I guess some were babies, so they wouldn't have known what she was talking about when she read her book, The Bench. But here she has a little pinstripe blazer by Veronica Beard. Just to give you an idea, just 675 pounds. Who does that? I mean, even rich people don't go around trying to show off their money and merch it all the time. I thought it was said that Netflix had, let Daniel, her makeup guy, and a couple of hairdressers and stylists, and, want her to look really nice while they were over there. But you're also not going to a royal gala, You know, you've got to think about the type of event that you're going to and how the other people are going to be dressed, and are you going to make them feel uncomfortable with what you're wearing. But she's always got to be merchant. And here she is that attended that surprise reception, and she is in a $960 Valentino dress. Oh, no, excuse me, 3,600-pound embroidered crepe shift dress from Valentino, which she paired with a suede bag for $960. See, she is trying to do everything she can to upstage Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, and she can't do it. She just can't do it. She wore a white Valentino dress when she was doing that Vax Live event in New York City, and it looked awful on her. Awful. And then there's Harry and Meghan, and she introduced him. And I don't even think she said his name, but she said, "You'll know the next guest," and goes on to say, and he's father to Archie and to Lily. This looks so weird. And some of the body language experts that read it said that it was like it was uncomfortable for both of them. But that Harry was very emotional, but probably so after the meeting that he went to, because I don't think we're privy to what exactly took place in that meeting, but I'll tell you some things that I do know in just a few minutes. So this was Harry's words. He said, "When I talk to my son, Archie, about what he wants to be when he grows up, some days it's an astronaut, other days it's a pilot, a helicopter pilot, obviously, or quasi from Aquanauts," he said. "But what I remind him is no matter what you want to be when you grow up, it's your character." Excuse me. "It's your character that matters most." Can you believe he would have the nerve to say this to people, that it's about his character, when he and his wife have the worst character of anybody else we know? But yet he's talking to his own son about character as if he has good character. "Nothing would make his mom and me prouder than to see you have the character of what we see before us, you." Wow, that sounds like his next book. I guess that'll be another book deal too, but this one will be Harry's advice from the bench to his son. I don't know if you guys knew this, but when I was doing some research on Invictus, there was a poem that was written by William Ernest Henley way long time ago, and it said, "Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul." Sorry, there's things in it, it's hard for me to read. "In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeoning of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds, and all shall find, me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishment's the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." And I'll tell you kind of what that means. It means undefeated, and was chosen as the name of the Invictus Games for people who had been badly hurt while serving in the forces, to express the idea that they may have been badly wounded, but that their spirit had not been defeated. Which I love the idea of these being called the Invictus Games. I love all that, the story behind this. I think that's absolutely wonderful. And again, I think the events are great. I'm just sorry that they have a patron that wants to make a documentary and use them to make money off of them and to pay himself. So here's something I found on Instagram, Charles' voicemail. A guy wrote, he posted this: "Netflix is not producing Heart of Invictus, so they are not paying the Sussex expenses. Netflix is solely the distributor, and they have an exclusive agreement, which means virtually no royalties can go back to IGF." So I guess that would be the Invictus Foundation, "as the film will only be accessible via Netflix. Netflix will only be releasing money to Harry and Meghan after the series is released on Netflix, and the amount of money will be subject to views. Because we'd heard they had an advance, but I guess they've sent their own team over there to actually do what needs to be done. Netflix does produce many of their exclusive projects, but according to industry records, not this one. So Violent Films, owned by Joanna Nascagaro, Archwell, and the Invictus Games Foundation are the executive production companies who have put up the money to make Heart of the Invictus. Harry and Meghan are being paid actual cash for being executive producers. So, factually, the Invictus Games Foundation is paying for a portion or 1/3 of Harry and Meghan's actual cash for being executive producers. So, factually, the Invictus Games Foundation is paying a portion of Harry and Meghan's salaries, bonuses, first-class travel and entertainment, plus security expenses using donations that were intended to help disabled veterans. Wow. If this is true, and I don't know who this person is, but wow. It appears that the Sussex spokespeople are not telling you the truth, Neil. I guess he's talking about something Neil Sean said. They are also concealing that the Invictus Games was the sole corporate sponsor of the Intrepid's Museum Salute to Freedom 2022 Gala. So, if Invictus Games sponsored the event that was held in New York City on the military battleship, the Intrepid, that Harry was speaking at and gave out awards, and where Meghan wore the terrible red dress that was all open in the front, totally inappropriate, and was trying to upstage everybody that was there being recognized. So it said that Harry and Meghan used to film the red carpet entrance in that ill-fitting red dress, with Harry speaking to the PTSD award winners like they were kindergartners. Harry and Meghan are dipping their greedy claws into the Invictus Games coffers. Their spokespeople need to be called out for lying again. Wow. So see, they put out whatever narrative they want. God forbid we should question it, because we're the ones, with disinformation. So here's something that one of my followers on Instagram, and I'll just say thank you, GF5. So I'm trying not to disclose people's names so that people don't get attacked, or, certain people watching our things, they don't go in on their social media platforms or channels. 10 things that you should not do in the Netherlands. So she found this and sent it to me, and I'm not going to read all 10. I'm just going to read you 2 of them. So, number 1, do not flaunt, period. The Dutch people are simple and modest people. Exorbitant displays of anything from wealth and status to business and education are frowned upon. There also links to their emphasis on conformity rather than standing out, and slightly explains why most houses look the same. So instead of going over there and wearing, $3,000, $4,000, $10,000 from head to toe, and lots of expensive jewelry, and 4-inch stiletto heels, and and walking around like you're a walking department store. Don't do this, because that's not what the people are about. And then number 3, you're not special. No, doesn't matter if your mom told you so. Don't expect any superior treatment just because of who you are. The Netherlands is an egalitarian society where respect and status are earned and not demanded. Every person is equal and should be treated accordingly. Ultimately, they don't care if you are the Prime Minister of X. If you are a jerk, then you'll be treated just like one. Vice versa is also true. If you are a good person, they'll surely let you know. So I thought that was interesting that, they're breaking 2 out of the 10 rules for sure. So, of course, here we have the guy, Bauer. Says Harry and Meghan exploited the Queen for Netflix. Royal expert accuses the Sussexes of making secret trip to Windsor for clear-the-air talks with senior royals to please U.S. producers of upcoming documentary. doesn't seem far-fetched that Netflix would say, look, you guys have got to clean up your image. You guys have got to start opening up social media platforms so that you can begin to advertise the work that we're doing together and talk about it. That you've got to be as seen as though, and we've read some of the articles that said, oh, offer an olive branch, and some of these other ones that always favor them, and it just makes me sick. But anyway, let's go on to see what he says. And I'm just shortening this out and condensing all these. Talking about Harry and Meghan's summit. Did you guys hear that? Summit with the Queen and Charles. Mr. Bauer said last night, I have no doubt that it was all done for Netflix documentary. The Queen's advisors failed to protect her from being exploited by the royal family's worst traducers, while the Sussexes exploited an old, unwell woman to boost their credibility and coffers. Well, I don't know. I'd like to know what you guys think. I'm not sure that that's what they did. Who knows? It could be, and why are you calling it a summit? It could be that the Queen, got in touch with them and said, we want you to come over. And it could be, people were saying the men in the gray suits and stuff weren't aware of their coming and couldn't protect her. How do we know? Remember, Harry's been afraid to come over and has been, suing Her Majesty's government for security. Maybe the Queen asked them to come over, and she may have said, don't tell anybody. Don't put it out in the public. We're not going to tell anybody, and therefore there's no issue or cause for alarm for security. You'll be staying on Windsor Estate, staying over at the cottage with your cousin Eugenie. And how do we know? And I've thought about this more and more. When Eugenie and Jack were over in California for the Super Bowl, and then we saw them papped, at the restaurant. How do we know that Eugenie wasn't sent a message by Her Majesty to say, I want you to tell them that they need to come and see me, that if they're not coming for the Thanksgiving service, that they need to come see me. We don't know. We don't know. She may be working both sides of the fence. And then, of course, when you search, and then one of my friends that's a YouTuber had put something out saying that the things that Ellie Hall wrote about and the things about Google were not so. Is this the one that I'm talking about? You can see you did a search, and I've got about 6 or 8 screenshots, and it pulls up all the major ones like the Today Show, and then the Independent and Sky News. It pulls up everything that's considered a journalist or news media outlet instead of our videos. Didn't say you couldn't find us when you go to YouTube and then search Harry and Meghan, but it is affecting our rankings, and I'll show you proof. Spring 2022 Google search rankings algorithm updates. And these are the people that watch this. And while they're always doing new updates to their algorithm, sometimes they don't announce it. So Google may have started a release of another Google search ranking algorithm update starting Friday, March 18th. And then it takes a while for these new algorithms to get going through. But it says we have both chatter from the SEO community, and that's means, and I'm Google certified, that means your search engine optimization community, and we're taught to kind of look at these different things, to look at the trends and see what's going on. And anyway, it says the tracking tools are picking up on it. I am calling this spring 2022 Google search ranking update, since this is the first day of spring today in his location. SEOs began to notice ranking changes and traffic changes from Google organic search on Friday morning, and I've noticed them too on ours. So I'm telling you, it's not anything that she's had done, but I do think that the California couple that I'm talking about do talk to Google, which owns YouTube, which, they talk to Jack Dorsey and all of them. It's all the Silicon Valley. So I do think that they put things in there so that when you search for Harry and Meghan, those type videos come up where our videos came up before. So I'm telling you, this has happened. Anyway, next thing, Palace trying to bury inquiry into bullying claims against the Duchess. So up in the left-hand corner, Rebecca English says, and this is another thing some of the different journalists are coming out talking about, Buckingham Palace has been accused of trying to bury its inquiry into the allegations that the Duchess of Sussex bullied her staff. Now, I know originally when this came out, it said the Queen and them would investigate. We know they had even hired an outside organization, but then it was said they may have only interviewed 5 people. So, but they did say that that would be handled behind the scenes and they would keep it quiet. How do we know this isn't something that they talked about to say, look, if you're going to continue with throwing dirt at us, we might just have to come out about the bullying accusations, which would really damage Harry and Meghan's brand. We don't know what was said in that meeting. It is understood that only 4 or 5 former members of the Sussex team in total had been spoken to as part of the royal household official investigation into the claims. The couple would have had up to 25 working for them at times, many of whom could be considered potential witnesses. But nothing has been heard since last summer by any of those involved in the allegations. This all came about after the Oprah interview last March, and then they thought, well, we'll do our own investigation. But they also asked Harry and Meghan to say, if somebody said something about the color of your child's skin, then tell us who it is. Meghan said she had receipts. She come in and said it was when she was pregnant with Archie that it was said. Harry walks into his part of the interview and said it was when they were dating. They weren't even engaged, so Meghan wasn't pregnant, if she ever was. So I'm just telling you, they couldn't even keep their own story straight. And if you'd listen closely to that, which I think many people caught on to it, that they didn't even tell the same story. Why didn't Oprah say, wait a minute, Meghan just told us that happened when she was pregnant and it was multiple people. Harry, you're coming in and saying it was when you were dated and it was one person. And then I will say that other people have come out to say it wasn't anybody, that nobody had ever done it, that was something that was kind of made up or twisted to make it seem like that was another reason for them leaving. So anyway, yeah, I wish they would. I can understand when it's in your employees that you can't really go out and, discuss things that go on behind the scenes, but maybe they could make a statement and just say, we've wrapped up the investigation, we've got answers, I don't know if they could disclose it or not, but I would certainly think that Harry and Meghan should, because remember they said, well, we want to know what's said, that they would have told them what they found out. And they may have. Richard Eden. A 15-minute meeting at 10 a.m. with Prince Harry certainly sounds like business rather than pleasure for Prince Charles. Royal read Richard Kay's report on Harry and Meghan's fleeting visit to Windsor. So, and I'll tell you, I'm getting, different people talking about that he met with Prince Harry for a total of 15 minutes, and that then he had to meet with the Queen. But I'll tell you what I've found out. Okay, before seeing the Queen, Harry and Meghan had a somber meeting with Charles that will decide their status as royals. It lasted 15 minutes. So does that mean their status as royals? Does that mean that they could ask them to put those titles in abeyance and not be referred to as the Duke and Duchess anymore, especially on all the things that they're merching and going out and selling? And I noticed that at the Invictus games, they were just kind of going by Harry and Meghan, and they weren't going by those titles. So, yeah, lots to figure out. It is understood that Harry and Meghan met Charles at around 10 a.m. for 15 minutes. According to a source, Camilla joined the meeting midway through. Charles and Camilla then left the castle together to go for St. George's service, where they handed out the coins, the Mondre service. Now, as one long-standing friend has told him, meaning Richard Eden, he loves his son and he has been brokenhearted by everything that has taken place. although he fears history repeating itself with Harry, just as it did with Princess Diana. But he also wants to keep the door open and keep talking, something that he still regrets not doing with Diana. After saying their farewells to Charles, Harry and Meghan moved on to the Queen's private apartment, where I am told the atmosphere was a lot less edgy. So it says, intriguingly, it involved a fifth member of the royal family who was not present at either meeting, Princess Eugenie. The princess, who is temporarily living at the cousins' Frogmore cottage, I don't think they've re-signed the lease to that, and I think that lease is up, with her husband Jack Brooksbank and their son August, is thought to have played an encouraging role behind the scenes. See, guys, I kept thinking, and I don't know this for sure, but I still feel like that she did talk to them in California and that she was kind of sent with a message, some type of message to convey that they need to get this worked out and stop with the mudslinging. She is Harry's closest royal ally, and she and Jack visited the Sussex in California earlier this year, and it is also close to the Queen, but it was the absence of one other royal figure that was most keenly felt. Prince William, who was on a family skiing holiday. He doesn't want to be around him. He has no reason to. That's for his grandmother, the Queen, to make the decisions. I'm sure they've discussed with him, and whatever they've decided to do, they're all in agreement. And also he has his father. He shouldn't be putting the brothers against one another, and the Queen doesn't want to leave this world without trying to resolve this as best as she can before these two destroy her entire lifetime work and legacy. And then also knows that she's got to help Charles with it, and that Harry will listen to her because, you know, she'll keep a cooler head and be able to talk to him sensibly, whereas, you know, Charles is going to be emotional, Harry's emotional, and they probably push each other's buttons a little bit. Said, I read on another page, oh, thank you for, and you know who you are that sent this to me, on another page from the sister of a woman, and this is where some of the information is coming in, who works at Windsor, said that Meghan did not meet the Queen, that she was told to stay in another room, and while she was in that room, and I've heard this at several locations now, watched and given a cup of tea and nibbles, that Harry met the Queen for around an hour. Said then Charles arrived. And see, this is what I'm hearing more of, that he met with the Queen, and then she said, you know, you're going to meet with your father. But either which way, whatever order it was, that when Charles arrived, they argued loudly for 15 minutes till Harry stormed out and told the footman to tell Meghan to meet him in the car. So whatever happened between them, if he did storm out after, then I imagine he met with the Queen first, and then he met with the father. And then there were other rumors. And of course, these are all rumors. This is all speculation. I can't verify any of this stuff. But this is, you know, what people are putting out on social media. And don't know that they would make it up, but again, it's unverifiable. So this was something I think on Blind Gossip from April 9th, when the streaming service threw a ton of cash at the A-list showrunner for 4 years ago. Mr. Hedge told you that the streaming service would take a financial bath. The analysis was just published today, and he was proven right in spades. You can read the analysis, which got linked today on the most popular news aggregation site on the internet, the Drudge Report. I looked for it, and it's Ryan Murphy, Netflix, Drudge Report. I couldn't find the report that he was talking about, but I'll keep looking. Maybe any of you guys could. And then this is something that is on the website, Windsor Castle. The Queen held a privy council via video link at 12 o'clock noon, and this was on the 13th. It's been said that different people in the House Parliament have been discussing if it's time for something to be done with Harry and Meghan's titles. I've heard rumblings of it. I can't prove it. I've went on that site so many times and spent hours on it reading different minutes. I can't find, but this were the people that were present on that. And the meeting had to take place because this was put out by the palace. Right Honorable Mark Spencer, MP, Lord President, the Right Honorable Michael Ellis, MP, Minister for the Cabinet Office and Paymaster General, the Right Honorable Alistair Jack, MP, Secretary of State for Scotland, and the Right Honorable Sanjay Javid, MP, Secretary of State for Health and Social Care. So we don't know exactly what these meetings were, but what if it had something to do with, finally, we've heard the rumors of, counselors of state, and I even found it back in the papers, and sources were saying that, they were going to remove Harry and Andrew. So maybe it's got something to do with that. Maybe it's got something with them to do that they feel that it's time for Harry and Meghan to stop trading off the Duke and Duchess title. So someone put this up, and I hid their name to protect them. Someone want to explain this? And this was the Time photo where Meghan and Harry were photoshopped to death, and Harry looks like his hair is just perfect, and it's so thick, and, it's a different color. And then, so it tells you it's all photoshopped. And this is Harry. He's just got very thin hair up there at top, and this is him over in the Netherlands at The Hague this week. So no. And then when he's out in the sun, boy, you can really see the scalp. And I'm not trying to body shame him because he's going bald. I'm just saying, why you got to Photoshop yourself, and why do you got to make it look like you've got all these hair, and you've got extensions and pieces, and wear wigs, and and do all this stuff. Just be real. That's what people don't like. You're disingenuous. You're phony. You say things that we know not to be true. You twist the truth out there. Just be yourselves, and maybe people would not have such a disapproving opinion of you. Then the Sun says, when Harry went pally inside Prince Harry and Meghan's secret talks with the Queen as Charles, it's revealed Duke initiated the meeting. Now the Sun is saying that it was the Duke, that it was Harry that did. But if it is, I think Harry would have went over to get one of the medals so that he could wear on his suit for Her Majesty's Platinum Jubilee. Or maybe they could try to get an invite and heal the rift, like Netflix is said to have want them to do, allegedly. It's for them to come over and be out there on the balcony with the kids. And I'm going to tell you what I think in a minute, but I just want to go through a few more things. It says the Queen agreed to see them both, but only after he had met with Charles first. See how everybody's getting this back and forth. They were traveling to Holland for the Invictus Games, which is only round the corner. Charles wants to heal things with his son and his daughter-in-law, and ultimately wants to meet his grandchildren. Is Charles being weak, if true? Guys, they're just writing what you would normally think about any father would feel about, any of their children or family members that they'd been alienated from. So they're not getting this from the palace. They're all just making this up. And again, it says after the summit, the couple flew to Holland, where they were cheered yesterday by athletes at the Invictus Games, which Harry helped set up. Well, why would they call it a summit? Now, I've heard summit in a couple of articles now. This is one of the comments that said, I think this was on mine. I watched a very good tarot reading earlier, and what she had actually said made a lot of sense. Her take on it from the cards, was that Harry and Meghan were summoned to see Her Majesty the Queen, that they didn't want to and hadn't planned to go, but throws a huge spanner in his court case because, again, he's afraid to go over there. But it was unavoidable because the Queen ordered it. This ties in with a tweet I also saw this morning that said a friend of the tweeter had a first-class seat on the plane Harry and Meghan took to London, and then this person was bumped out of their first class after they had purchased the ticket because they said the flight was all the seats in first class, which is usually four rows on each side. So you've got, you could have anywhere from, it's different on every plane. But anyway, it said that she had a first class ticket, and she was told that she wouldn't be able to go up there. And that was bought way in advance. So that would mean Harry and Meghan's flight was kind of booked at the last minute, and said that she had the seats, had already been booked, and that Harry and Meghan or Netflix, and not sold to other people. That the reader also said that this was business decisions with the couple, and possibly Prince Charles and Prince William, and and who is who is PE? Prince Edward? I don't know, about their titles that come to light after the couple left concerning some missing money or something stolen. All very intriguing, but it makes sense because not even the palace aides knew about the meeting, and you don't just walk up on a whim to see Her Majesty the Queen, even if you are her grandson. And we've reported on that as well. It said, I don't think the meeting was desperate for some positive. Oh, I think the meeting was that they were desperate for some positive PR to improve cashing in on the Invictus trip, right before they'd get the headlines going about going over to see the Queen, because they knew so many people were going to be mad at him for not going over to his grandfather's Thanksgiving service. Remember that the corporate deals now own Harry since he sold his titles to them, and that the sharks want their ROI, or return on investment. Harry and Meghan's job in simple terms is to increase those corporate and startup sales and subscriptions. That's, in my opinion. If he's not stopped over to visit his family, it would have damaged his brand and money-making of the Invictus trip. And then we know he'd probably, flew straight home after going over there anyway, after being away from California for so long. The sharks wouldn't have liked that affecting their return on investment. So it could be a little bit of both, but I do think it's Harry and Meghan trying to improve their image. And while they still want to be internationally protected people, they could say, well, we went over in the cover of darkness at night and stayed on the grounds, and nobody knew we were coming, and we weren't going to be out in public. But how did a bus load of people going to the service that Prince Charles and Camilla were at say that they saw them walking? But I'll tell you more about that in a moment. So then, thank you, Sue, and that's not their online username, and so I'm keeping everybody protecting who they are. So it said allegedly there was a meeting. M put in another room, being watched, plus drinking tea. Harry with the Queen for about an hour, then Prince Charles with them for a short time, and allegedly didn't go well, that there was some yelling with both storming at, and that would have been between father and son. And credit to keeping New York City mega trash free. She did this and put the like a cartoon in there with Yankee Wally, I love it, and the tomatoes, and Meghan with the devil face on, and she's got tomato splats all over, and then the clown sitting next to her. So I thought that was cute. So that was really sweet that she did that for Yankee Wally. And by the way, I listened to her tonight, and I thought, I laughed so hard I could have cried. She was one of those nights, and she just sounded so wonderful, and she was in rare form. And just the things that she was saying through there, and telling her other little stories and giving us updates on things. I mean, I almost wet my pants. I laughed so hard. So don't forget that I had sent you all the link about the Invictus Games to disassociate. This is the petition with Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. So if you haven't signed that, you'll find that on my community page. Body Language God did this. Now he's reporting the Telegraph. And of course, the Telegraph, I swear I believe the Mirror and the Telegraph and maybe the Daily Mail got fed information from Harry and Meghan to make it look like everything was all hunky-dory. Duke and Duchess of Sussex are invited to make traditional balcony appearance at Queen's Platinum Jubilee. That they will be allowed to attend family events but not take part in Trooping of the Color. This would make so many people mad. You know it would. It would make me mad. So, goes on to say the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have been invited to appear on Buckingham Palace balcony during the Platinum Jubilee celebrations, but can have no formal role, it is understood. If the couple opt to travel to London to join their family in celebrating the Queen's 70 years on the throne, they will appear at family events, which include the traditional balcony appearance, as well as a service of Thanksgiving at St. Paul's Cathedral. However, as non-working royals of the firm, they could not take part. Well, we know all that. I just don't know that they would allow them to go out on the balcony, because even if the Queen, in her forgiving heart and nature and being a Christian woman, even if she does, that even when they have them over, that book could still come out, and it could have stuff about her, about every member of the royal family, where they're all being, having mud slung on them again from Harry's memoirs. But this just blows my mind. I just don't know. So I'm really curious what you guys think. But anyway, what I was going to say is, when they're up there on the balcony, you got to think about Kate and the lies that were told about Kate. And poor Kate doesn't hurt anybody, and how that was twisted and then has made her squatties turn on her and William, and the things that were said about a supposed family member talking about Archie's skin color when he was dating Meghan. Wouldn't have been able to talk about Archie's skin color, would they? So that was all just even bigger lies than we realized in the beginning. So, credible whispers are coming out to say that Harry's wife met neither Her Majesty the Queen or Prince Charles and remained outside with 4 footmen, not one, but they put her in a room, gave her tea and biscuits, and then had 4 footmen to just stand back and keep her company. And it said apparently the raised voices between Harry and his father in the separate meeting to Harry and Her Majesty the Queen could be heard well outside the room that they were in. And then someone else says, according to Lady C, who has impeccable sources in the royal family, it was Netflix who insisted they set up a meeting with Her Royal Majesty the Queen once they found out they wouldn't be recognized by the royal family of the Netherlands, that it was too damaging to their brand, and they were afraid the Queen would die before they could stage a reunion. According to Lady C, it was cordial visit, as if they were just ordinary visitors. The Queen didn't summon them, and that they were together for only an hour. They, for the first time, walked from Frogmore Cottage to Windsor, making sure that they were spotted. Otherwise, the PR stunt would be in vain. So she's saying that, and I watched Lady C's, but I'm not sure if she said it all just like this, but I could be wrong. But Netflix is also making sure Smega doesn't merch on any of the apparel. Well, they're not doing the usual things, but they are merching, because how would they know what labels were in the clothes she was wearing, and how would it already be out in all the papers? She's just doing it a little bit different, but she's still merching, folks. They are worse than demons from hell. I like your version better. However, also VVIP status, which is the same level as an internationally protected person in Great Britain, was given to nearly all of the foreign guests after learning of some possible terrorist activities during the games. So they're saying that level of status wasn't just to Harry and Meghan. It wasn't like they were granted that it was because of possible terrorist threats, that it was afforded to everybody there. And said that's the only reason Smeg and Ginger Poodle got it. Now, here was another one. It says, an insider account of what happened when Harry and Meghan visited Windsor Castle. So it says, a very good friend of mine from childhood, who now lives back in Manchester, England with her family, told me about the visit with the Queen and with Prince Charles. I can't get into my source, but her sister works at Windsor, and I was working there during the visit. Apparently, Meghan Markle did not go in to see the Queen. She was not allowed to go anywhere near the Queen, and only Harry was allowed to see his grandmother. Well, I should hope they wouldn't allow her around her, and I wonder I bet that pissed her off too. But Meghan had to sit in another room with 4 footmen. See how we're kind of getting bits and pieces where it's kind of all coming together, watching over her. But they did bring her, hot tea and something to nibble on while she was waiting. Harry, on the other hand, was with his grandmother for just about an hour. Then he met up with Prince Charles also for 15 minutes because allegedly Harry and Charles have an awfully huge, really loud and highly charged blowout, and their interaction was extremely hostile, so much where others couldn't help from hearing it, and they all heard the extremely loud yelling coming from and in the vicinity of the room where Harry and his father met in Windsor Castle, and that Harry left and stormed out in a huge huff as he slammed the door behind him, and then he asked where Meghan was, and then he apparently pushed his way past one of the footmen who was standing in the hallway and told another to tell Meghan to meet him in the car. So the meeting didn't go down well with his dad, I was told. I was told that his meeting with the Queen was quiet and seemed pleasant enough. So that was the take on what went down during their Windsor visit, and this was by one of the Queen's staff. That sounds pretty plausible to me. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank you for the people who contributed to the video, and you know who you are, and you asked to remain anonymous. Thank you, Sue, for your contributions. It really helped, and because it's hard to kind of scour everything that's out there, and with everybody kind of helping out and saying, you know, here's something that you might want to include. I'm very grateful, and that was very helpful. And I want to say, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Getter, Rumble, Truth, and Rainbow.fm if you're on any of those platforms. If you're not sure what my username is, look in the description of each of my videos, scroll down to the bottom, and you'll find them there. And I want you to thank you again for watching. Thank you for any new subscribers, and I hope that you will like, share, and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up or just leave me an emoji in the algorithms for any of my listeners on Rainbow FM. I want to thank you for listening to me. I hope that you're enjoying the content about the royals, along with my other colleagues who are putting out their content as well. We find them to be very fascinating. We all have a great love for the royal family, and especially respect for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, for her 70 years of service, for a life devoted to service, and which I'm sure has been very difficult, all while having 4 children, raising a family, and dealing with all the day-to-day things that she has had to deal with, all the people that she's had to work with, from prime ministers to every possible position imaginable. But thank you again for watching. So let me know, what are you guys thinking? I'm feeling a little better. I just really think that this isn't put out by the palace, and some people might think that they're putting feelers out to see what the comments are. So go on the Daily Mail, the Telegraph, the Express. Go in on those articles, and in the comments, tell them how you feel. Because while they may not be doing a voting poll, they may be putting it out there to see what the public's reaction is. And when I went back and looked at some of the comments, the reactions were not very good at all. And lastly, I want to say that this video, I had intended for it to be kind of like going over viewer comments, because I had some of the best comments in this last video, and I just appreciate them so much. So I really wanted to highlight yours, but now everything was happening so fast that I wanted to let you know what articles were out in the newspaper and kind of let you know what I was thinking, and that's why this one's quite long. I guess we're probably coming up on about an hour, just over that. So I apologize it being so long, but when you're doing these, it's hard to kind of break it up and make a couple because you feel like that you lose the continuity with it all. But thank you all for listening. Thank you for your support, and I hope everyone has a lovely week. May not be back tomorrow, may take a day off. I'll see what's breaking in the news, and I'll be back with you all really soon. Lots of love and blessings to you all. Thanks, guys.